we've been off to a rocky start here, trying to get set up here on Facebook and on Instagram, but we are here and we are live. Thanks so much for joining me. It can be stressful being your own boss, right? So funny that I'm talking about this topic, and I had a little bit of stress trying to get this video set up for this afternoon. So in less than 15 minutes, I'll be sharing with you 2 things that are causing your stress when you're being your own boss, and I'm also going to offer you some solutions on how you can reduce that stress. Please like and share this video if you get value from it, and if you're listening to it on the replay, type #replay. Really appreciate y'all's support. I'm Dr. P. I'm a strategic business coach. I've been a school psychologist for about 10 years in K-12 schools, served on professional organization committees, and I'm also a part-time faculty for psychology at the master's level. So remember that great feeling that you had when you walked out of that job that you were so tired of going to because it was causing you so much stress, right? Then you decided to become your own boss, and you thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so awesome because you know what? I ain't got to deal with no much stress, right? That's probably what was going through your head. I'm going to have my own business, and I'm not going to have to deal with all the stress that all those co-workers were giving me, those supervisors, administrators, whoever it was that was causing that stress. You're like, yep, done with it because I go and do my own thing, and it's going to be great, right? But then you really got going in your business, and then you soon found out something stressful, right? So that's what I really want to talk about today. I want to talk about 2 things that are causing the stress that we feel in our businesses, and also some solutions to help reduce those feelings of stress. Oh, and by the way, if you were not already familiar, May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. So another reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we don't just have to deal with our mental health in the month of May. We do have to deal with it all year round. Over the past year, a lot of people had to deal with issues that they may not have been aware of before, or they're now becoming aware of. Hey Takara, thanks for joining. Just talking about stress and how it relates to our businesses. And I was just talking about the fact that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And our mental health plays a key role in the successes that we experience on a day-to-day basis. And if you weren't already aware, stress actually plays a key role into our mental health and our mental well-being. So that's why I really wanted to talk about the importance of recognizing the stressors in our businesses and then how to deal with those stresses, right? And it doesn't matter which industry you're in. It doesn't matter what product, what service you're selling. We are all going to experience stress, but there are ways of overcoming it. So I want to share something with you. When I was a school psychologist, I remember walking into my internship and being so excited. I had all this knowledge, and I was going to apply all this information that I learned, and I was going to be awesome, right? That I was going to help so many children, become better academically, behaviorally, social, emotionally. I was on top of the world. I was like, yeah, boy, I got all of this, and I going to do it, right? Because I was so excited to do it. But then I quickly found out, you know what, though? Even though I had all that knowledge, even though I was ready to get out there and share it and help children, I was part of something larger. I was part of an organization. And being a part of an organization, there's so much more that I had to become aware of just so I could do my job. Then others, I was wondering, did I really need to know those things? But I'm talking about the fact that I had to become familiar with employment practices and procedures, to be aware of the changes that my organization made to strategic plans and the goals that they had for the overarching school district, to stay up to date with the goals in my own department, also the goals in the schools where I was assigned to stay up to date with changes in curriculums. And in the schools, it would be curriculums related to English language arts and math, and even for interventions. Depending on your business, you probably have a curriculum that you're using to help train your staff, right? So becoming familiar with curriculum was something I was like, okay, I got to become familiar with that. Then there was always performance evaluations, because you love your performance evaluations, right? When you had to sit and you had to talk about all the things that you were doing sometimes not doing, and just having that evaluation done by your supervisor. So you also had to become familiar with what that process entailed and make sure that I was doing all the steps that I needed to be doing throughout the year. Because you guys know, performance eval wasn't just one day. They were looking at your performance over the course of the year. Then, it ain't done there. There were still so many other things. Hey, Marianne, thanks for joining me. Just talking about the stresses that we experience as small business owners. And I was sharing a little bit about what I went through when I first started in school psychology, right? Not just going to help students, but the organizational part of it. So I mentioned a couple things already. So here's some other things that I realized I needed to become familiar with, right? I needed to learn about the different departments within the organization so that I knew when I had a reason to contact, I know who I needed to contact when there was a child find issue, multilingual resources, payroll, health insurance, retirement, mileage, transportation, professional development, vacation, technology, psychological assessments, a complaint, mental health issues, if I wanted a security issue resolved, if I had a mental health counseling question for myself, a colleague, a student, a family member of the student, lighting issues. I know you might not be thinking about it, but the lights that you have to flick on and off in your office, a furniture request, having to deal with private schools, discipline issues, how to access archives. I mean, the list went on. And I'm sure you're there sitting and thinking about when you were working, where you were working before, you probably had a similar list as well, with just having to know who to contact when you had such and such problem, so you knew what those resources were available to you. So you might not have dealt with exactly what I dealt with, but like I said, I'm sure you have your own list of the things that you dealt with. So the point is that as an employee in an organization, before deciding to leave that organization and becoming your own boss, you had that list of things that you had to deal with, whether it was directly or indirectly. And some of those things, let's be honest, caused a lot of stress, right? Because some of them it was easy to access them. Others, you felt as though you had to jump through all these different hoops just to get to what you needed. And all the while, you still had the expectations from your bosses, from your supervisors, with all those demands of things that you needed to do every single day and every single week, a month throughout your job, right? Now, as a small business owner, you're not free from that list. You may have thought you were going to be free from that list when you walked out of that job and you're like, peace out, people. I'm going to be my own boss. I got this. But you didn't realize that a lot of those things you're now going to transfer into having your own business. So you might not exactly have that same list of stressors, but you have a different list of stressors now that you are your own boss. And you might even have more things on that list. For instance, now being your own boss, you might now be dealing with market research. You probably never had to do that before. Creating and monitoring your business plan, your strategic plan, looking at sales, web design and maintenance, human resources, technology, social media. We all got to have that social media in there. So these are some other things that you are probably now dealing with, because remember that list I mentioned a few ago. Now add these things to that list so you can see how these things become so overwhelming to us, right? And we left that job because we wanted to be our own boss. Now we're being our own boss and we're having a list of things that we need to be working on in our own businesses. So those things bring me to those two things I want to talk about that create that stress for us as business owners. The first one is job demands. You left your previous job to become your own boss because you probably were thinking, oh my gosh, my supervisor has such unrealistic demands of what he or she wanted me to do. And then I had these colleagues, these team members. There was so many demands being placed on you. All these changes in rules, regulations, policies. You were like, oh my gosh, how can I do it all? But now you're your own boss, right? And now you're like, oh boy, this is it. I am my own boss. Know that you are the CEO, you are the director, you're the principal, you're the president. Whatever the title it is that you have given yourself, you are now running your own business. And there are demands that you now have because, yes, you're your own boss running your own business, but now running your own business is now your new job. and that's what you're working on. And there are a lot of demands that are going to be placed on you when you are your own boss, when you're building up your own business, right? And it doesn't matter what stage of the business you're in, your demands are going to be there, because as your business grows, your demands are probably going to change as well. So with the role that you have now as the boss of your business, it has a lot of responsibilities that also come with it, right? So there is a lot of stress that can come along with it, right? So there's a lot of research out there that talk about the fact that with job demands, as those job demands increase, then that stress increases, and that stress can lead to burnout. So as job demands increase, job stress increases, and that could lead to something called emotional exhaustion, which is a key element of burnout. So again, we want to avoid that. So I got some things that I could want to share with you on how you could avoid, feeling so burnt out. Then the second thing I wanted to talk to you about that causes the stress that we are experiencing is a lack of job resources. So a few minutes ago I mentioned that as our business grows, it seems as though our needs increase as well. So those needs are connected with the resources that we have. So before you became your own boss, remember, you sat down in that previous job of yours and you looked at the resources, or you may even have said the lack of resources that your business had. And it made doing your own job so difficult, right? And it became so frustrating. And you just look forward to that day when you walked out and you became your own boss. That's great that you are your own boss. But here's the thing. Now that you are, guess what? You're now realizing you got to be the person to find those resources that you need so that you can move forward. So when you became your own boss, did you start your business with enough capital, with enough funds? Did you think about projections? Did you do market research when you started your own business, Then budget is a big part of a business, right? Don't get me wrong, it is, but it's not the only resource. Funding is not the only resource that you should be thinking about, and also realizing the role of it in your business. You might be realizing that you now need simple things. And by simple things, I'm talking the basic of the basic, like a pen. Because remember, wherever you worked before, I don't know about you, but I know where I worked before, they only used to order black ink pens, not necessarily blue ink pens. So you had to make sure you were specific on the order form. You had to be there when your order came through. Your name had to be on your order. So remember, you did those things, but you filled out a form and it went off to whoever it needed to go off to. Usually there was a secretary who helped us out with doing those orders, right? But now that you're your own boss, you might not even have a secretary as yet, or you might have one. The point is, you now have to keep track of the resources that you have. If you already have a business big enough where you have somebody who's in charge of that department, that is awesome. But remember, that person still needs access to what they need so that they can continue to track your inventory and the resources that your business needs to keep going. So when I'm talking about simple, I'm talking about simple things like your pens, your paper, staples, post-it notes, notepads, envelopes. Yeah, you might be sitting down there and you might even be smiling, who wants those things? But think about it. The day that it comes that you need to mail something, do you have that envelope? Do you have that envelope ready? If somebody's telling you something, you want to write a quick note, do you have a pen? Do you have a notepad? Because we're taking phone calls on the phone, we're in virtual sessions, and sometimes we need something to write on and something to write with. So having the right materials at your fingertips goes a long way. Then there's also those of you who prefer digital. That's awesome. But guess what? Do you even have the right tablet? Do you have the right desktop? Do you have the right laptop? And by right, I mean, is it the one that has the speed that you need, the functions that you need, the capabilities that you need, the enough memory that you need? Do you have the technology that you need so that you can be efficient in your job as being your own boss? Not to mention a webcam, a scanner, a printer, a scanner app. Do you have access to these things? Do you even know how or where to find these things? And if transportation is a part of your business, do you have the vehicle you need to actually be doing the day-to-day for your business, to go and get resources, to go and meet with clients, to go to jobs? Do you have that transportation? Then there is even more resources, and I'm talking about knowledge. Do you have that knowledge that you need to help you with whatever is the current problem you're facing? How about the knowledge to continue developing your skills for your business, to create the necessary policies for your business? And let me not even get started on social media. There's also understanding social media and having the necessary tools and resources related to social media. So there are so many things, and as I talk about them, you might be saying, yep, that's all on the list of things I don't have. So that's why having limited resources can create stress for us, because without having the right resources, we might not feel as though we're accomplishing as much personally. We might start to feel detached from our businesses. Our emotional exhaustion could be increasing, and those things lead to burnout. So when you're talking about your stress is increasing, your burnout might also be increasing, and you want to keep your job. You walked out of that job for a reason, to start a business, the business you currently have, for a reason. Let's keep it going. So let me talk about these three solutions really quick, because I realize we're already over time. Want to talk about 3 solutions to help you with reducing that stress. The first one is get a business coach or find a mentor in your industry. And the reason is the business coach can give you that unbiased feedback, can serve as a confidant, can hold you accountable for the things you said that you want to be doing, can also show you the strategies that are proven to help you with solving the problems that you're currently facing. Or you can find a mentor in your industry, and working with that mentor, that person can then share with you, maybe some insider tips so that you can navigate certain things better, as well as some lessons they have learned while being in the industry. So that's one of the things that can help. Then the second one is ongoing education. We need to keep learning. As our businesses grow, we must grow. But this don't mean that you got to know everything, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be delegating tasks to others. That's not what it means. It means that we need to stay current with things that are impacting our industry and our business, and also continue to improve in our areas of strength. So that way we can get that personal accomplishment that we need, so that we can continue feeling energized about our businesses and moving forward. Then the third one is psychological support. So our minds are very powerful tools, but with all those stresses, it can take a toll on our mental health, on our mental well-being. So if you have employee assistance programs already built into your small business, I highly recommend that you reach out to that part of your benefits package and get the supports that you need. If you don't already have employee assistance programs in your small business, you might not be as big. So what I would recommend is you look at your medical insurance and reach out to your provider to see what list of mental health providers are available in your area to help you with whatever you're going through right now. Yes, talking to a family member or friend can be helpful for many people, but there are times when there are very difficult issues that we need to work through, that talking to the family member or the friend isn't going to help us move through those issues. So in those cases, that's where a mental health professional can come in and provide the necessary supports that you need so that you can move forward and continue striving in your business. Yes, it can be lonely being an entrepreneur and being your own boss, but it does not have to be that way. There are resources out there that we can utilize. So yes, job demands and access to limited resources can be stressful, but there are solutions to help us with reducing those stresses. So thank you so very much for joining me. Remember, solutions plus actions equals results. I'm Dr. Priscilla Kuser with Priscilla Kuser Consulting Solutions. Thanks again for joining me. Bye.